Happy Monday, fam. Welcome back. Today we have a good amount to talk about. We got our market update for you, and it's a doozy. No surprise to anyone, we had some unexpected events last week, and people are calling it a black swan. Is it a black swan? Do you get the same vibes that we got back in 2020? Not really. Not really. A little bit of spookiness. Bitcoin up at its top of its range. I'm not feeling it. Bitcoin is anti-war after all. It is not a human. It does not have an opinion. But before I get into the ranting too much, let's just do this market update. It's a banger. We got good stuff to cover. So what I need from you, please smash that like button. Hit the subscribe. Engage with the live stream. It helps YouTube send out this stream to new viewers. And I appreciate all of you tuning in on a Monday, early Monday. So let's jump into it, guys. Bitcoin is shaken, but not stirred. Nice one. Crypto markets largely recovered from last week's geopolitical turmoil and sell-off. There are no on-chain or sentiment indicators pointing to a cycle top yet. We still appear to be consolidating at mid-cycle range lows below the highs. Volatility and indecision is present due to ongoing macroeconomic and geopolitical tensions. Now, last week, we noted given how past cycles have trended, our bias would be towards the upside. But this is against the backdrop of macroeconomic and geopolitical discourse in 2024. The traditional crypto cycle requires more examination and sometimes reinterpretation, I agree. Price was structurally weak against strong resistance at about 70,000. Stubborn inflation stifled the macroeconomic recovery, and geopolitical tensions in the Mideast are rising, or were rising. Unfortunately, these are a recipe for disaster. And disaster, or volatility, not for disaster. For volatility, and volatility is what we got. Rising tensions between Iran and Israel late last week led to several market-wide sell-offs, not just in crypto. Bitcoin, in my opinion, fared very well, with a peak retracement of 16%. By now, it's mostly recovered, bouncing from 61K up to as high as, I believe, 67,000. Altcoins, no surprise, were hit much harder than Bitcoin and the rest of the market. Ethereum saw a 25% drop, and Solana a 37% from its peak. In total, the altcoin market lost nearly 30%, or $310 billion, almost overnight. The good news is that altcoins have shown some signs of life. We've seen some bouncing, some retracement of their recent losses, and this is reflecting the strong bullish sentiment in the underlying cycle that we're seeing. Think about it. People were screaming. They were shaking in their boots on Friday and into the weekend, yet not a lot has happened. We have seen some altcoins retrace back to their monthly supports or untested supports, but for now they're holding. Things do not seem super bad, in my opinion. Just talking about the market, no comment about everything else going on. Recovery was helped by a bit of good news. Israel announced that it does not intend to retaliate against the attacks, and Hong Kong opened its Bitcoin ETFs, or at least they approved them. I don't believe they've started trading yet. This opens the door to Chinese investors in the same way that the US ETF opened it to US citizens. More volatility is still likely. I don't want to try to fool you guys here. Make sure that's good. Oh, wow, that just went live. I don't want to try to fool you guys here. More volatility is likely still on the menu. The market is still on high time frames bullish. We're going to do a top-down analysis of Bitcoin after this market update. So stay tuned for that. We're going to get to some alts too. We're not going to miss them. As we approach the end of this peak rate cycle, sometime in this year or next, and if you look at the interest change probability calculator, we have gone from 5 rate cuts this year down to 3, and now I believe that chart is only reflecting a single rate cut. We have been kind of speculating around this, saying these rate cuts are likely not coming the way we expected. This inflation data is not what the Fed wants to see, and we even threw the idea of possibly a rate hike, though I think that is still an outlier. I don't believe we see a rate cut. I'm so used to saying hike now. It's weird to say cut. I don't think we see a rate cut until maybe Q4, the end of Q4, post-election, etc. And I think that's actually a good thing in the overall, but we'll get to that later. Bitcoin, yeah. sometime next year. Yep. Bitcoin ETFs are being adopted in the two largest global economies, with China jumping in now. And the halving is only 5 days away. 420. It's the prophecy is coming true. This correction is also a reset of a lot of the on-chain and sentiment indicators we've seen. Fear and greed didn't dip as low as I would have expected. I believe it only hit 73 on Saturday, which way higher than I would have thought after kind of the spookiness we saw. Bottom line of this is don't be shaken out. Don't be shaken out, guys. Stay strong. Bitcoin has endured much worse than this, and it will endure this as well. It is anti-war. It is not affected by war directly. And really, you can see this on the chart. If there was something terribly wrong, we would expect this sell-off to have continued into Monday morning. And at least to my knowledge, that hasn't happened yet. We have some promising narratives still on the horizon, and that is the utility expansion on Bitcoin like Ordinal, Stacks, Runestone. Ethereum Layer 2s doing, well, they were doing well with the Dogecoin upgrade until recently, especially those built around Base, which is still seemingly flourishing. Coinbase is driving new traders into the market with its Base ecosystem. OG projects like Doge and Litecoin may see institutional investment in this year or the next year with an ETF approval of their own. I wouldn't doubt it. I think, a hot take, I think Doge or LTC get an ETF before Ethereum. Salt. I'm ready for the salt responses. Emerging L1s like SEI that have VC investors and interest, and Sol, apparently. They're finding ways to pump their bags. It's a promising narrative. Meme coins with utility. I don't know if I really agree with this one, but maybe I will. If Elon adopts, say, Doge to Twitter, I think that's actually the best case scenario of that. GameFi and NFTs will have their day someday. I just don't know when it is. Web3 and crypto digital art like CryptoPunks, Beeple, 𝐂𝐴𝐵, and many others. Solana's maturing DeFi ecosystem and meme coins when it's not broken. I was going to do a long-term cycle forecast, but really nothing's changed on this front. I meant to pull this up. This is the price action just kind of underneath 70K. I meant to pull up this long-term cycle forecast, but nothing's changed here. Our author, Mr. Poppy, shout out to him. His Twitter is in the video description below. Looking for 40K. I still think that's too low, but of course, time will tell. Time will tell. Market cycle health. So this is really what I wanted to talk about. We have our popular data points that we've gone over every week, and we're using these to hope to try to at least have an idea of when the cycle top is near. And we do this by looking at these data points in relation to how they looked at previous cycle tops. So my favorite one, absolute favorite one, right here, Bitcoin supply on exchanges. It does not get better than Bitcoin supply on exchanges. Doesn't. This is the selling pressure available in markets on the Bitcoin market live. When this metric is trending down, there is less sell pressure, which is inherently bullish, though doesn't guarantee price only goes up. So over the last 7 days, we've seen a pretty neutral change on supply on exchanges. Not a lot. I believe it's roughly exactly where it was. Maybe we'll see this mix up this week if the market does continue to the downside. Performance year to date, very bullish. This metric has only really gone down throughout the year. Supply available to sell is shrinking. This is good. 40% drop in exchange so far since 2020 and a 7.5 year-to-date change. There's really not enough to note over the last week, but it does suggest that a supply crunch is coming in the future. As the available supply dwindles, there is less and less to sell as that gets bought up and removed from exchanges. At some point, we hope, we pray that there is a supply crunch that sends Bitcoin to new highs. New highs, baby. Our favorite thing. And NUPL. I don't know how to pronounce it. NUPL. Last 7 day performance, again, neutral, just like on exchange supply of Bitcoin. And the year-to-date performance has been bullish. In previous cycle tops or near cycle tops, we tend to see this net unrealized profit and loss approach 0.71, or at least that's what we've seen in the last two cycles. At the moment, we are at 0.59, maybe 0.57 at the time of writing. It does reflect persistent greed and unrealized profit, but there is room to run before a historical peak around that 0.7 to 0.8 area. We can see on this chart. There's nothing that says it can't go higher. However, we are in about we're in alignment with where we would expect to be. We're above the all-time high. We got above the all-time high, and this metric is reflecting pretty accurately where investors are at this point. Miner Position Index, or MPI, 7-day. We're seeing some bullish trend here. This is kicking what we've seen in the past data points we've gone over today. In the last 7 days, and honestly, all year, we have seen miner selling pressure reduce. This is a little unusual going into the halving, as we have typically seen this selling pressure increase. This chart shows us miners selling their positions, or kind of their holdings of Bitcoin versus the normal. And we can see our highs coming down pretty consistently here. Our highs coming down consistently over the last, it looks like all the way back to the start of the year when we had our big spike. This is also a bullish sign, and it is not giving us a top signal yet, along with the other metrics we've looked at. Let's look at net flows. We did see net flows actually flip positive in April for a little bit, now back down, but really still neutral. Not a lot of change here. A really great metric to track over the week's changes. Small decrease in inflows during the Black Swan news. Year-to-date performance definitely still on the bullish side and not showing a top signal yet. We have not seen a large influx of supply going to exchange. That is good. That is good. Pi cycle top still sitting bullish, not giving us a top signal yet. 7-day performance neutral. A lot of kind of not as exciting updates, but there's still good stuff to be found here. Market cap to its realized cap. Again, neutral 7-day. That's what we're seeing across these metrics. To me, that doesn't sit in alignment with the price action and the spookiness of this weekend. I think there's some kind of divergence there of the bullish kind. Top signal, no, but this one is closer to what we've seen in the previous cycle top. So this might be the earliest warning sign we get whenever it comes. It continues to consolidate between the 20 and 30% below the key rejection levels of the previous cycle tops, suggesting again that there is more room in this bull market, and I like that. The biggest and scariest and spookiest thing we have to update on is the dollar. Man, it is just ripping. It is showing a lot of strength. The last jobs reports was troubling for the Fed because it showed employers were adding a significant number of workers to their payroll, more than expected. I will diverge a little bit here for a second. I looked a little more into those numbers. While the total number of new jobs added was higher, if you actually delved into the data a little bit, you would see that full-time employment actually decreased on that report. We saw part-time employment show massively huge numbers that made up for the full-time reduction. So I don't know if these numbers are really I don't know if they're really indicating what people think they are. The numbers were high, but it wasn't full-time employment. That's not a great signal that people are kind of championing with this recent data. And this was followed by the CPI, which is a popular inflation metric that showed inflation was being stickier than expected. And man, 𝐿 used the word sticky I don't even know how many times in the previous speeches he's given. That's clearly where they're at. That's where their thinking is. If inflation remains stubborn, it will lead to higher rates for longer, like the Fed has been parroting. For a small chance they raise rates further, yes, both would be short-term bearish for crypto. I agree. Speaking of which, 𝐿𝐴 actually speaking tomorrow, I believe at 1:30. So I guess we're going to have a Tuesday stream. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Even if they do go this route, the Fed is still near the end of their hiking cycle. It just seems to be being pushed out farther into the future. It is inevitable that they eventually will at least somewhat pull rates back down, though I have a suspicion they're going to leave them higher than we saw them in the last few years. For several reasons, particularly the US deficit, they can't continue on this course without serious spending repercussions. This is why markets are long-term bullish, even if the near-term or short-term is a little undecided. If this does happen, expect Bitcoin to continue sideways with a moderate bearish bias with retests of key supports. Easy peasy. Market sentiment, we love to do it. This is my favorite part. I don't know why. Coinbase app global ranking. Rank 294 and 14 among finance apps is trending bullishly, but still not enough to suggest a crypto cycle top. We see that Coinbase app rip to the #1 spot pretty consistently in these cycles. Google Trends, Bitcoin continues to grind its way up. You can see this. I think this is the best metric. I think Google Trends and the word Bitcoin is the best metric. That's my opinion. It really seems to reflect what price is doing, more so than, I don't know, YouTube or the word cryptocurrency. It's still trending up, but not enough to suggest a cycle top yet. Last week's sell-off definitely cooled our sentiment down considerably, and this type of sentiment reset can help lengthen the span of the bull market. I talk about FUD being bullish, kind of counterintuitively. We need good FUD in a bull market. We need things that feel and sound real to shake weak hands. This just is from my observation. I don't know why it works this way. Maybe it's just the nature of markets. But the more we can shake weak hands, the better or the healthier bull runs tend to be. And I would say last week likely shook even some strong hands out there, fam. Did anybody get shaken? If you did, don't be embarrassed. It's okay. We all live and learn. But this isn't going to be the last, and in my opinion, might not even be the spookiest thing that we hear before we do see a crypto cycle top. Finally, Bitcoin dominance, baby. We looked at it last week live on Friday. We called a breakout, and it did not disappoint. It rallied above our 8-year resistance off of the Black Swan news. This led to Bitcoin outperforming versus altcoins, and that's not a surprise to anyone who is watching their portfolios this week. Not a told you so, but I do preach the value of a portfolio having a majority of Bitcoin, and weeks like last week are the reason. You might say, oh, never get rich with Bitcoin. Sure. I don't know, just discount all the people who have and say you won't. That's fine. But you think you won't have enough upside gain or whatever. Bitcoin as a majority in your portfolio, the value is not the upside gain, though it's there. The value is the insulation from the volatility, from the downside. If you have a portfolio that's heavy in Bitcoin, you'll notice the lows of your portfolio creeping up over time, which is a better pathway to being wealthy, to be getting rich, is to have the lows of your value go up. If you have $10 million one day and then you're down to a penny the next day, you never really had $10 million unless you sold it all. Bitcoin will insulate you. It will protect you from the lows. It's hard to say whether this dominance break represents a long-term emerging trend or if Bitcoin rejects from here. With Hong Kong approving ETFs on behalf of the Chinese markets, this could theoretically see a significant increase in demand for Bitcoin, which could lead it to outperforming alts, and that's what we see on the dominance chart. We'll look at that in a little bit here. On Friday, I said I'm looking for a blow-off top, looking for a rally that gets smashed down on dominance, and that's going to be the signal for me to not only pick up new altcoin positions, but also that this bull run is healthily locked in and on its way. That's what we've seen in previous cycles. Let's do last thing, and then we're going to get into the goodies. We're going to get into the high time frame analysis on Bitcoin. We're going to see what you guys are looking at. You can check out some alts. The crypto and economic calendar, 𝐶HPOW, speaks tomorrow at 1:15 East, so you better be here. I actually have to get blood work for my statin meds early tomorrow morning, so maybe I'll be a little loopy. We'll find out. Today, core retail sales came in actually above, way above forecast. The U.S. demand is unfettered by prices, apparently. Actual 1.1 versus 0.5 forecast. That's a huge miss. Wow. Retail sales, again, almost double the forecast. And we can see on the previous readings, we have also had high readings. So U.S. spending does not seem to be slowing down. GDP of China, Q1 forecast 4.8. I guess that hadn't come in yet. That comes in, later today. Tomorrow, 𝐶HPOW. Wednesday, CPI year over year for Britain, Euro, and crude oil inventories for the U.S. On Thursday, initial jobless claims. I'm going to be watching that one closely for sure off of the last week's job creation numbers. That's whatever it's called. Philadelphia Fed manufacturing and existing home sales. If you want to get more in depth with our market updates every Monday, check out crownanalysis.com. This article linked in the video description below. Shout out to Poppy. His Twitter on there as well. Follow him. Great analyst. Love the guy. Absolutely love Poppy. Should follow him. There we go. Let's get into the real deal. We got 520 watching on the main stream, about 110 on the vertical short stream. You're tuned in to Tom Crown live on Monday. We just did our market breakdown, going over our key data points and metrics. We're going to jump into the Bitcoin chart. We're going to do a top-down analysis. We're going to take a peek at some alts and, of course, Bitcoin dominance. Now, really quick, Bitcoin halving is fluctuating between the 19th and the 20th, and we're going to be live whenever it happens, but we are all rooting for April 20th. It will be the memeiest of days if we have the halving on 420. It's almost meant to be, in my opinion. Miners, calibrate your rigs. Calibrate them so that it happens on 420. Slow them down, speed them up. Apparently my background is goofed here. What the heck? Give me a sec. Wouldn't be a Crown show without a little bit of technical issues. Jumping in. Change. Didn't change. There we go. Easy peasy, fixed. And we're back on track here. Let's do it top down, but I do want to see what's going on in the chat. I want to see who's here today. So if you could put something in the chat, just any message, love to shout you out. If you're new here tuning in, you've found the right place. Welcome. This can be your new home. You won't regret being in here. Our channel is dedicated to helping you guys succeed. We don't shill. I don't accept money to say things are good investments. Our goal here is to help you succeed through the bull market. Now, we've been streaming through 2 bear markets. We have a good track record, so I think you found the right spot. Let me see. Did anybody subscribe? Any new subscribers in the last few minutes? That's right. Andre Soto. What's up, my friend? Upender Singh. Fit Bite. Happy Meal Vegan. What's up, man? Vanishta. Levente Cesarka. Dalt Tornik. You guys got some interesting names today. Jason Proctor. M. Darian Young. Dixit. And many more to come. Keep hitting those subscribe and like buttons. SPY taking a huge dump. Maybe we'll have to go into SPY first. Let me pull that up. I want to do a top down on crypto. Because it's been a while. I kind of got out of the flow of that. Oh, wow. SPY taking a huge dump. We'll definitely take a peek at that as well. Oh, man. Bloody Monday. What's up, Boogie? Bullish Reset, Cherry City Bullies, Flynn, Just Call Me Joe, Ralph Enjoying the Sun, Sanskar Gupta, Small Face No Toe. Interesting. The Biomex, V Monitor, Wendy Woo Keys. Over there on the vertical stream, feel free to join us on the main one. You're on the mobile version. Over on the main stream, who we got? Ace of Hearts, Alexandra G. What's up, Alexandra? Good to see you here again, darling. Andrew Hall, Bad Baptist, my brother. Beached, Crypto 420. Let's go, man. Crypto Z, Daltonic. There he is. He subscribed today. David Gelfan, Donato Cabrera, Dr. Crypto, Dylan Morgan, Fabio, my guy. George. How you doing, George? Herman's Muse, King Peasant, Crunk C, Kyle Brandt, Lars Larson, Loading Name, Monster, Mac Man, Mary O'Connor, beautiful Irish name. Irish myself. Mr. Investor, Net Star, Nicholas Arena, Obe, Ono Y2K, OP Insan, Papai Poppy, Paul Wood, Pest Killers, Petar Midic, Randy Greer, Sean Coons, Stijin, Sorrow N, Sin, what's up, man? TD Tesla, how you doing? The Dude, Tillin McPooch is here. Vadius, I can't pronounce that one. Venom Hex, Vlad Daskalu, Welsh Jesse, Wick 589, Xcal Lion. All good peeps, all here today, hanging out with the crown, with the fam. Let me see. Over on TikTok, Ricky Ricardo sent some hearts. Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate you. I don't know if you're still here. Ash Jan, who else is around? Tesla Puts did well today, says Mango Lee. As soon as you sell is when you lose money. Hey, if you're in a loss, absolutely, Craigton. What's up, Eric Davis? What up, man? Who else is here? We got a lot of people. Keep hitting those likes, those subscribes. Join our fam. Jump in the Discord, discord.gg/TomCrown. Shout out to our sponsor, LuxAlgo, the #1 indicator company in the world. Hundreds of free indicators. They also have premium ones. They're giving a free, risk-free month trial for LuxAlgo, so you can use my link, sign up, see if you like the products. Doesn't get much better than that. That's a good offer. Check them out. Links in the video description below. Sign up with any of them and get VIP access to our trade rooms in the Discord. It's free. There we go. Shill's out of the way. Let's go. Thanks for the crown, my friend Gunslinger. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Cherry City is on YouTube and TikTok. What a Chad. All right. Let's earn and learn. All right. Yeah, let's get learnt, not burnt. I was going to do Bitcoin top down, but instead let's look at the S&P 500 because yikes. Yikes. Actually, not looking too much different than Bitcoin. This is what I wanted to do on Bitcoin, but we'll do SPX really quick. Not as in depth. SPX in a bearish engulf of last month. Last month hitting new all-time highs up to 5,200. Now down to 5,080. That looks like a big loss, but it really isn't. The biggest, worst takeaway for S&P 500 right now is the monthly bearish engulf. Target close for April with 15 days. We're only half the way in. 5,098 or 5,100. Closing above there invalidates that bearish engulfing, shows that the bulls are still alive, still looking to push price higher. Not a great look closing here. If we get an April close on S&P below 5,100, it is looking very likely that it wants to come back and retest that previous all-time high at 4,800. Let's go to this week, baby. Honestly, the monthly looks worse than the week. The week is not beautiful either, but this is like a slower, more controlled sell-off. Let's get some indicators up. Money flow in the week looking solid, though. Something tells me we're looking for maybe just shorter to mid-term retracement. Maybe that'll bring us back to the all-time high. No good level there. 236. Okay, well, at the moment, even though S&P has sold off, it has not actually officially entered retracement. From 3,500 to 5,300, we actually have to make it all the way below the previous all-time high, 4,777, to even reach the first most shallow level on the Fibonacci retracement tool. When price is not below or hasn't moved to that price, we are saying it is not retracing yet. That can be a little confusing. It is correcting. I don't know. Pulling back. Let's call it pulling back. Actually have to get to about an 8 or 9% pullback before this is really in danger. Too early to call in the month, but that does look like this looks prime. Previous all-time high, resistance, broken, tested as support, continue higher. That'd be my bet. Though it is hard to make kind of even mid-term projections right now though I don't think it's really important to charts necessarily. With the geopolitical unrest, new developments can kind of throw TA out the window. Sometimes TA is not the right tool. It can help us trade, but it doesn't tell us the future. Money flow in the day looking saggy for S&P. I would say likely we have a green candle this week in the S&P, but it does look like it wants to close down. Wow, today hitting that resistance, moving lower. Yeah, not looking the best. Good luck, S&P. Yikes. Literally moving lower right now while I look at it. I'm going to set an alert. 5,050. We'll come back to you. Bitcoin is the focus for me. Bitcoin sold off first trades 247, most liquid asset on earth. Yeah, Bitcoin is the most liquid asset on earth. And now with ETFs, it's undeniable. Before it was a little bit, it was doubtable before. It was, well, you don't have that much liquidity. Well, liquidity is about availability. It's not just about quantity. It's about availability. If you can't trade over the weekend, you are not liquid over the weekend. Bitcoin never stops trading. Bad Baptist is right on, man. It is the most liquid asset on earth, and that's only becoming more and more true. I want to do a top-down analysis, meaning I want to go from long time frames to short time frames. We used to do this every single day, and then I got a little bit off the game. It is repetitive. I know. It's maybe not the sexiest content, but this is the content. This type of analysis, doing this over and over and over again, is how you become a great trader. You need to make trading routine. You need to make it robotic, systematic, and this is the best way I have found, at least. Looking at the quarterly, we have a teeny bit of red here, maybe matching July 2023, at least at the moment. 11%, 10%, yeah, actually the exact same candle. If we look to our highest quarterly close minus Q1 of this year, that would be April 2021, and that sits at 58.8. That tells us that on a quarterly time frame, trading all the way down to 58.8 is still just testing previous resistance as support. That could still be a bullish retest. Going down to the month here, better stuff on the month. Oh, that's cool. On the month, we have a similar setup, and this brings us to November of 21, and that is at 61.3. And yes, the number we recently tapped on this sell-off. So is the sell-off over? It certainly could be. This isn't enough to definitively say that, but it certainly could be. We've retested that previous monthly close, and we have a wick below us. That's a good sign. Looking at RSI, we have seen higher highs. Stotch RSI I've added to the chart today. We do see this crossing up here in the 91 area, giving us some downward indication. VWAP reaching 0 again, not a great bullish upside short-term signal on the month. Really, the only good thing I'm seeing on the monthly right now is the wick, but also MACD continuing to set higher highs. This is showing us increasing bullish momentum, increasing buying momentum. It's not just that it is buying, it's not favoring, but it is continuing to be stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's what we tend to see in our big bull runs, right? This topped out April of 21 last time. When we get our first blue candle here, maybe that'll be a topping foreshadowing, warning, something like that. 72.3 sits as our monthly resistance above. And is there something here? Let's pull up our moving averages quick. Doesn't want to do it. Here we are. Ooh, that's cool. We had a golden cross on the monthly. It's not an official one, but the 20 monthly moving average crossed above the 50 monthly moving average last month at the peak high right now. That's a bullish signal, but again, we study these moving averages a lot, and we say kind of the same thing is when you get these crosses, it is bullish, but all it really gives you is you're bullish above this price. And I don't think really anyone needs to hear if Bitcoin moves to 33K, it's still bullish. I think so, but that's a huge drop. It doesn't really make sense. Probably to most people, that's okay. Let's go to the week. Week still high above the 20, meaning high above the Bollinger Bands, which I don't have on here, or do I? There we go. That's really what I wanted. High above the baseline of the Bollinger Bands. This has remained untouched since the 200 daily moving average was taken in October of last year. Hovering below price at 53.7. The weekly baseline, or the 20 moving average, is the same thing. Offers support if this sell-off continues. We are still high up in the bands, and this price action looks a lot like the price action we have seen this entire time, honestly. Nothing too threatening yet. But you can see now on the week, and I'll get rid of this. This isn't the best setup. Not the best setup. Last week's sell-off brought us just back to March's low at 60.8 for potentially a double bottom. I do not like double bottoms or double tops in crypto. Similar to the way I don't like bull flags, bear flags. They don't seem to behave the way that we think they should. This is not great. This is not a great short-term signal. Obviously, we do not want the week to trade below 60.8 unless you're in a short or bearish. Kudos to you. What we want to see is this weekly close up above 65.5 again. This is this is actually the weekly high. So to preserve 65.5, the bulls can still remain in control. Closing lower, obviously going to be not so hot. Not so great. Here's where it gets really interesting. We get down to the 3-day. Look at this double bottom. This double bottom is on that weekly line, 65.5. Double bottom candle close, lower high, fell lower. This gives us another kind of measurement of in 2 days, 7 hours. So not even just at the end of the week. We want to see the 3-day close above 65.5 again to preserve this support. Closing lower is going to signal a break of support and probably lower prices. These like 2-3-day time frames look really cool on Bitcoin right now. That's why I wanted to share them. You can almost see on the 2-day, and we're going to get too many lines here. It's going to get busy. But you can almost see that again on the 2-day. That potential close, test, close, move back up. There's a lot of support levels, and that honestly makes me a little nervous. Makes me a little nervous. When there's too many, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable. 2-day money flow looking crappy. RSI painting lower lows. Stotch RSI, though, in contrast, to what we saw on the higher time frames, actually down at the bottom of RSI versus the top like on the week, and multiple bounces here, higher lows. We could see this move up and give us that 65.5 close over the next 2 days. I think that looks good. Daily right here, my lord. Oh man, this has changed a little bit since this morning. I did a little homework, but we are now at yesterday's open. Typically, we view this as a solid place to look for a short-term scalp. If today can hold its low, 64,000 back to what, 65.5, not a huge trade, but a likely trade if yesterday's open is defended. Almost done, fam. Here's what I don't like about the day. We are at the bottom of our Bollinger Bands. We're below the baseline. We have done this before. This isn't doom, but this is not a good setup. Typically, when you're in a bullish trend, you want to see touches to the bottom of the Bollinger Bands infrequently, but when they do happen, you want to see price react. Similar to what we saw on the 24th of March. We touched the band, we move right back to the basis line. We didn't quite make it there today. That basis line is coming down and is likely to meet that 65K mark by the end of the week. Our Bollinger Bands are actually increasing again, which is not great either. They tend to get tighter before large volatility moves. Actually, like we saw on Friday, the bands were tightening before we dumped. We got to get out of that. We got to get out from the bottom of those bands. That is not a good look. Why isn't this showing up? My computer is going hella slow today. Kind of to wrap this up on the high time frames, when we throw the bands on the month, we do see though that we're still at the top of the band and we're potentially finding support there. That would be extremely bullish. It is a very easy call for me to say, if 61.1 or this month's low holds, we are likely still in the same uptrend. It just looks a little bit different. Riding the top of the bands is what we do in our explosive bull runs. You can see this in the last cycle and the cycle before. Dropping back down below is an ugly look. So the end of April, I think, is going to be a large signal, let's even say for the whole quarter or maybe into the end of the year, for what this market is going to do. We have the halving in 5 days, so there are a lot of catalysts that can propel price up or down, honestly. This is going to be a big month. That is all I need to know. That's all you need to know. We're going to be watching it here. 12-hour back to the open, holding the lows for now. Let's take a look here. Money flow a little crappy. Stotch RSI, I forgot. Crap. No, we're just going with Stotch today. We're not going to have the regular RSI because I deleted it and forgot to put it back. Actually, check that. Boom, done. Oh yeah, if you're wondering how I did that, little learning lesson for TradingView here. Did you know that you can just click on an indicator? So I clicked on the RSI line. You just drag it and drop it. So now we have an RSI, Stotch RSI indicator with twice as much noise. Double the noise. Both RSI and Stotch are down in oversold. Cool beans, I guess. Momentum on the MACD beginning to show us increasing selling momentum. I read this as we have 6 hours to move price back up. If it closes down here, that's going to suggest further downside on the 12. Let's use our fib tool. 57.3 down to 55.2. I'm going to use my fib tool again. 57.2. See some confluence here with our fibs. I'm not sure we snagged that number from anywhere though. Got like 6 hour. What do we got? Man, all the time frames right here, man. All the candle closes. I don't want to see any candles close lower. And it kind of looks like it is right now. We may not be resuming the uptrend quite yet. 4 hour down in the dirt. Money flows cannot catch a break on these time frames, man. 4 hour was about to roll over and then faked us out. A little trigger wave to the downside. Not seeing anything bullish at this moment. Down to the hour. Same thing. Rejected. Stotch is low. How are you guys feeling? How are you feeling? You guys feeling bullish or bearish today? We do have a pull up on the mainstream. And I believe, yeah, The poll with 600 votes, more than half of us are looking for lower. All right, that's a first, guys. We almost never get those results for our polls, like ever. Here it is. All right, we're good. And drop my phone. I don't need my phone. Not seeing anything too exciting for the upsides today. Maybe exciting for the shorts, though. Maybe we should look for a short entry. Yeah. It's coming down. On the 1 minute here, this is super ugly. Super ugly. Oh my. I'm a perma bull, man, but price does not always just go up. It's like a weak high. I still think we get a retracement today. Some kind of intraday high. Can argue that already happened, maybe. Okay. This little dump here has really pulled in, our oscillators down. That could give us some energy for retracement, but I'm not really going to get my hopes up on how high that will go. No. You know what? There it is. There's the high time frame into the low time frame. Here's the levels. This is what I'm looking at. I don't really have a prediction. We are right at the decision line. We are right at the decision line for this. We may see this break. We may see this break down today, like during the live. I may sound super bearish. I'm not super bearish. I just don't see, like, right now, anything specifically great. I want to. I want to believe, fam. Almost everywhere you look, you're seeing this same kind of thing. We're down on the 1 hour. I'll show you this on a higher time frame, what I'm talking about. But we're seeing these ascending low trends be broken and then back tested. That is a bearish setup. I think it's even on the day. Yeah, here's what we're looking at. I guess if you take the lowest points, we're still technically above. But even this trend we had from last week, it's like you had this low trend, you broke it, you back tested it. Not a great, not great for the upside. I'll let this brew. I want to say something profound and have some real good insight alpha for you, but I don't have anything. I don't want to get you guys excited in either direction. Breaking 67,000 during the live stream today. If that happens, then we're moving back to that 71.3. This could start to paint out. Let's show this. This could start to paint out as something like that. But that, I don't know. I'm not going to put my money on it right now. I'm not in any trades at the moment, I don't think. My Litecoin long got liquidated. I posted that on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. The other day. That was rough. I haven't been trading this chop as much. Have you guys? I'm just not a chop guy. Ben Abstract, you're going to place a short right now? Good luck, my friend. Nothing I say is financial advice. Your money is your money. Make your own decisions. If you just blindly copy what I say, you'll probably lose money. Repeat that a lot. I'm just showing you my analysis. I don't think it looks great. If I were going to go for a short, though, I still would look for some kind of bounce. Maybe a return to 65.5. $65.5 would look pretty good. Ooh, the 5. We retraced back to the 0.5 level. This is, in my opinion, like the worst place to reject. Didn't make it back to your golden Fibonacci retracement. 0.5, man, if we break this low, we're going lower. Probably quick. Battling it out. I think right this second is the worst time to take a trade, honestly. I don't know. I'll see what you guys are thinking. Can you please tell me the indicator that is colorful? This one is Market Cipher B. Market Cipher. Yep, there it is. Is it going? Man. Yuck. Where did I place the fib? A lot of questions over there on TikTok. I like it. 72.2 down to our local low here. 60.8. Dog Litecoin is a good one. Do you think so? I do. How about AAV? Maybe. Ooh, optical art. Duplicate trend line for channel. You can. Or you just use the channel. Channel works well. Which one are you talking about? On the downtrend? With this double bottom, you can argue it's a like a horizontal channel. Only because you have the double bottom. Yeah, and then you get the rejection point. I kind of like that. I think it's hopium though. I think the horizontal is hopium. What was Steve looking at? Shout out to Optical Art. Check indices. We did look at S&P quick and it was dumping. It's dumped a little bit more. Dumped a little more since we looked at it. Honestly, I'm looking for 48.8 or 4,800, the previous all-time high at this point. This had a beautiful channel. Maybe this is what Steve was talking about. This had a beautiful ascending channel, and just like ascending channels do, broke down. Typically, ascending channels break down, descending channels break up. What am I missing on this chart, guys? What am I missing on the Bitcoin chart? I feel like there's a key, maybe time frame or indication that I've missed. This is the ugly. Steve MVP. No, one on right. You mean here? Oh, you mean, okay, you mean the breakdown. Yeah. On S&P. Gotcha. Actually, it broke down already. Bump. Unusual. Is that how you're looking at it? I mean, that's pretty cool. I think this is the argument for me. You already dropped out of it. That can get very bearish. Very, very bearish. We already did like a TA on S&P 500. So if you want to look at it, you can go back. DVR is enabled. Which is more likely, going up or going down? I'd say down today. I'd say down. Eddie's buying at 58K. All right. It's not a bad price. How do the volume profiles look? I see most people use volume profile wrong. Honestly, what I think is a better tool now than volume profile is the volume candles. I'm actually really liking these volume candles. I should have put this on earlier. Big volumes down to 61.8. Big volumes on the sell-off. You had a corresponding pretty big volume buy, but now today's sell-off lower volume. I think what we can say here, even though it does not look good, short term. The volume is beginning to like trickle. It's beginning to lessen as price is moving down. The sell-off will have to see a lot more volume to be very convincing. I'll throw a volume profile too, if I can find it. The reason I think most people use volume profile wrong is because their inputs, they're only looking like a certain amount of candles back, right? And I think to properly use volume profile, you have to have all the price data for that range. So basically, there we go. This would give it to us. If we extend it back 1,000, we can say a volume gap down to 52. I mean, arguably even down to 43. Not a... See, then people would say, this is like where the incorrectness comes from. They say, oh, there's a big gap here. Well, the problem is you're not taking all the data. You don't have... I don't think it goes all the way back to here. It only goes back 1,000 bars. There we go. When you have volume profile data under the lowest point in price, that's how you know it's going back far enough. So this is how I would look at it with volume profile. I think this is honestly pretty nice. This looks pretty good. There's a big gap all the way down here at 13,000. I don't think it ever gets filled personally. But this looks pretty on par for what we've seen. I've used volume profile less and less. I think volume profile is very good for like low time frame scalping. I don't think it's very good for like macro though. Personally. Yeah, we traded lower, but didn't go anywhere. We're going to look at dominance and we're going to look at some altcoins. What do you think? If you could, though, smash those likes, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, join our Discord, discord.gg/TomCrown. Party's always going in the Discord. It's always live. Dominic Harcourt Webster, what's up, my friend? I see you subscribing. AT Michael Jackson, the Michael Jackson, has subscribed to this channel. I thought 100K would be the biggest milestone that we'd ever have, but Michael Jackson subscribing, that's a bigger one. Shout out to you, my friend. Mitchell Lambiosu, Tree Taylor, Zestify, M. Cecison, Navneeth S, Luke, there we go, name I can pronounce, Luke, Andres, Crypto Knight 5. What's up, Tim Boat, over on Facebook? I didn't catch you there. Andre Soto, and more. Your name could be next. If you subscribe, it'll show up right here. I'll shout you out. It's a good offer. Can I check render? Yeah, we can. We can check render. I have it pulled up. I want to talk about dominance. I'm not going to make it as ranty as I usually do. Polkadot. What's up, D? Dean the Dean. Manipulation for May. Honestly, Bitcoin dominance rallying is like expected. This is what happened last cycle. We had a blow off top on dominance in January of 21 that fell down and created the alt season bull run. And so that's what we're looking for here again. Throughout all this time on this channel, we've been expecting Bitcoin dominance to return to at least 60%. It doesn't really matter what percent it is. Like you can't short and long this anyway. But 60% is roughly where we saw consolidation or distribution before it fell into the last cycle. It would fit the pattern of lower highs on dominance throughout its history. And really what it does is when dominance does make that move, blow off top, it gives us that downside. It gives us what is basically what we know of bull runs. It gives alts that room to actually run when they're increasing in dollar value, but they're also increasing in their value proportionately to Bitcoin. And that's when you get those parabolic rips. So the higher dominance goes, potentially the more or bigger the altcoin season will be. And I know you guys think we already had altcoin season. We've had it. How many times have I heard altcoin season in 2024? Hell, even all the way back to the start of 2023. Bajillion times. I'll tell you guys right now, this might be controversial to you. You might not like this. We have not had any altcoin season. That doesn't mean alts don't go up at all. But we have not had any altcoin season. We can see that right here. November 22. We have only moved up. Bitcoin has only been a larger percent of the crypto space. Now, this makes sense to me, and I feel gaslit because people have been arguing otherwise. With the Bitcoin ETF, we might see higher highs on Bitcoin dominance. It might break the lower high cycle. That would be even worse for alts in the short term. It could then lead to an even greater expansion for alts afterwards. But the ETFs should bring us higher dominance. Dominance is behaving or has behaved very weirdly, in my opinion. I think it should have moved higher faster. It hasn't. ETFs are putting money specifically just into Bitcoin. That does trickle out, but I think it should have moved higher already. But whenever this does have that move, this is going to be the signal for altcoin positions. The trick, though, is if Bitcoin doesn't continue to sell off, dominance continues to move up, Bitcoin moves up in price, we're going to see alts slowly grind up in dollars. So by the time that happens, they may actually cost more in dollars, probably not a lot more, but they will be on sale against Bitcoin. So in Bitcoin pairs, that is why I will look to add alts when we see some kind of blow off, when we see some kind of large expansion. We saw a nice move, bigger than I expected last week, but not quite that signal. It should likely, history rhymes and never repeats, it rhymes. Should likely look something like this one. Like this. You move to a new high, meteor smash down. You're never going to catch that high, but you can start to catch it dropping. That is it. You're going to get better deals. So dominance still creeping up here. Close strong. Currently at 55. Not moving. Cool. All right. We'll look at some altcoins. I know you guys were looking. Someone asked for Render. Render hit. A lot of these things hit. Some of them got stopped. Render hit our entry at the previous all-time high. 802, right? 802. Did not get stopped out, but it was close. It was very close. Our kind of more favorable spot position here in good, I'd say in good position. I think Render still has more to go this season. In this trade, though, specifically, I'm not going to actually leave it this way, but if I took this trade, I probably would be moving the stop up. It went a little lower than I expected. I think I'd move the stop. I don't know if in profit, because I think it'll just get stopped out like today. But maybe below the 14th wick at like 722, something around there. Here's what I don't love. We saw this on GRT and some other coins. And also, I guess Bitcoin now, right? Damn, I don't like that. You have essentially a double bottom. The problem with a double bottom is you end up, if you don't paint a higher high, you end up painting a head and shoulders. And you will expect to see price retrace farther or move farther to the downside. It's not guaranteed, but it gives Render and many others kind of a crappy position where not only do they need to see a bounce, they need to see a bounce to a new high. Any bounce below the previous high now after you've retested that support is sus. And it might even make sense to wait for a position above that high. That's not the type of trading that I preach here or do here. But man, a lot of things are looking knifey. Market Cipher B giving us rolling over money flow, not a great sign either. Pretty reflective of the rest of the market. That wick is the only thing keeping me alive on these charts, man. The sell-off last week got bought up pretty intensely. This week, we're seeing more kind of continued dribble bleeding. We don't want to fill the wick. This goes not just for Render, but for everything. We want to keep that wick defended. So yeah, trading, you know what? Maybe I can say even above that. Like 770, I might set the stop if I traded this. I didn't take this trade. But this is looking okay as long as that low can be defended. And this is going to be true of many of the charts that we look at today. You don't love to see it. You have to hit a higher high, and that's a big ask. It's a big ask. Can I look at pups? What's pups? This isn't DGen Friday, brother. You're selling everything? Do it. Wow, we're getting a lot of follows over on TikTok. Damn. I thought we got a lot of subscribers on YouTube when we're live. Holy moly. Like maybe 1,000? I don't even know. Keep them coming. Keep them rolling. Solana. What do you guys want to look at next? Solana looks crap on the daily. Yep. I wonder if Solana actually stopped out. It might have stopped out our trade. This is not Solana. Crap. Now, which chart was it on? I hate this part of the job. Oop. One sec. There it is. All right. Cool. That would have been a shame. And take all this crap off here so you can see. Solana, for some reason, okay, I think it has to be on the day. Solana, there it is. Taking the big L last week. Trading from 210 earlier in March down to 120. Crashing lower than I even was aiming for. We're looking for an entry at 144 with our stop down at like 110. Stop not hit. Really, this is almost the same scenario for trade as we saw on Render. Render filled the position but traded much lower. Got close to the stop. Sol very similar here. And now price roughly back at the entry. So that either suggests there's an entry here or we're going lower. Solana does not look great. Does not look great. Same thing on the week. You got the long wick and now market is kind of teasing this wick fill. Not good. RSI getting reset here. We're seeing that on a lot of charts. That can be a good thing. Can be a good thing as long as it gets picked back up and overbought. But RSI down. We're seeing that selling hype kind of extinguish a little bit here. Solana's going to have some issues on the way back up. 185. Looks like it was distribution now, not accumulation. That's going to act as resistance on the way up. You also have a very flat double, triple, quadruple, whatever. Candle close at 200. So you have 185 and 200 both potentially in the way of new highs, I think there could be a trade there. Like this. Looking to short. I guess today's the short. Looking for shorts. 1.2. How far do we have to go to get a good RR? Something like that. Not even necessarily calling for this to play, but I think you're going to have trouble up here. That may be opportunity. Same thing. These charts look all the same now. Man, rejecting from just the abstract shape we drew on the last stream. That's interesting. I can see potential on low time frames for Solana to retrace here. You do have a good bit of inefficiency on that sell-off. You sold off very hard, very quickly, and you did not bounce. That would be up to like 173. I could see some potential here playing like this, but you're really going to have to hold this low. And your right shoulder, your right shoulder is already kind of sketchy here. Do not want to see trading much lower, man. I'll say I don't want to see Solana trade below 133 before moving up at least to like 170 first. Fill in some of that inefficiency. What's up, Lee? I know it. I don't even need to read your super chat. I know what you're saying, brother. What's Sega? S-A-G-A. S-A-G-A. I'll pull up the Jesus coin for Mr. Lee. Man, you never mix it up though, Lee. I respect your commitment to your coin. Weirdly, not as bad as some others. Not weirdly, but interestingly, not as bad as some others. You have tested support a lot at however many zeros won. That is my concern. You've tested it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times in the weekly, maybe again this week while your highs have been coming down. That is not ideal. It's not an ideal move. If Jesus coin does lose 1 cent, I'd be looking right back here to like early October or October's open 0.56. It's a pretty big drop. But if if you can start breaking highs, it's about 150% from here. Wild, very volatile. If you can start breaking highs, then you're looking to retest your all-time high, potentially move higher. I think I could do something like this. I'm not going to take this trade personally, but I will show an example of how I might approach this if TradingView will let me. I would look for a very tight stop, very tight. Back to, I mean, even here you get a 5-to-1. Wow. Very tight stop, looking to play to 175 from 1, 70% gain, 80% upside, 10% risk. I think your stop should still be tighter than that. But the trade thesis here is you have support. It's held. That's good. But the more you test it, the weaker it gets and the more probable it becomes you move lower. So a long position, especially with leverage taken here, will want to be stopped out very quickly below that low. There you go, Jesus coin. I'll set an alert for it. Appreciate your super chat, Lee. You demand.
Thanks, Tom.
There's Lolo with the $20 super chat just said thanks. Appreciate you, Lolo. What am I doing tomorrow? We'll be on the POW. What's up, 𝐂𝐫𝐲? What's up, man? Would you be able to do a check on 2 of your coins if you donate? Depends. I'm trying to run through some of them we looked at on Friday. Sol, BNB, just to bring a note. I know no one's going to talk about it. BNB, very cleanly back to 509 and held. If you hold 509, maybe that gives you an entry at 509 with a tight stop at like 495 back to 622. If that holds, that's looking very good. If it doesn't hold, I think you get a deeper retracement to 450, something like that. But a BNB just seems to be insulated to all of this volatility. Just is not moving. It went back to its all-time high and it's just sitting there. I think that's actually a good look. Not trying to endorse BNB. Dogecoin quick. Going over some of them we've been tracking here. Dogecoin, it did retest into the 13-cent area. And we said if it does hit in there again, that might be another entry. That 13, 14 cent with a stop loss below 12 cents, still looking good up to the 27-cent area. Trading much lower, obviously going to wreck the Doge setup here, but I don't hate what I'm seeing yet. The whole market is seeing selling pressure, or at least resistance to moving to the upside. A lot of it looks the same. A lot of it is this wick. You get a similar wick here. But Dogecoin, I think, is actually set up pretty well. Hovering at the weekly order block, hopefully holding support. Tested the fair value gap on the day. The outstanding one and the current one. I think Doge is going to see probably 20 cents again in the next week or two. Trade's still holding strong, still doing well. Cheers to anyone in Doge. Near, I'm going to show you some of the losers. Near got stopped out. That was wild, but we were saying, this is a good one for a lesson here. Kind of similar to many of the charts, you had a support that had been holding, and we essentially said, well, if you wanted to take a long, you could take it from that support, but you want to have a tight stop, because if you trade below, you're likely going to find resistance there. Near ripped down to 432. I guess that was a previous, looks like monthly from the history. I don't know. You may look for a short at 610 with a stop above like 750. I personally do not like that play. It is good to see this held. If near trades below this wick, like we've been saying about a lot of these charts, things are very ugly. They'll get very ugly. So there's a loser. So you guys don't think I only show you the winners. Ethereum actually looking very bad. Let's see. Very bad Ethereum. Yikes. Yikers. Ethereum hitting lower lows against Bitcoin. What in the world is it doing? It does look primed for a bounce, but it can continue to bleed like this for quite some time, even down to 0.04 against Bitcoin before that bounce comes. So I do not like it. Specifically, what I don't like right now is the loss of our pattern. We don't have higher lows and a flat top anymore. The sell-off nuked it below. And now today, back tested 3,283, back to a red candle. You may not find support until 2,690. For those of you looking for a scalp play today, maybe right off 3,000, yesterday's open could give you some little window to play to the upside. But Ethereum not looking so great. Total also finding resistance at that previous higher low. Not a great look either. Gala. Woo! Gala almost stopped us out. Yikes. That's a yikes. Gala did back test what was already tested as support and held before moving higher. Not a great look for Gala. I'm not so bullish on this. I know this trade's looking yikers. Looking very yikes. Support below 2.5 cents for Gala. Resistance likely going to be up here at the 5.5 cent area again. ADA stopped us out. Yikes again. Even uglier, actually. Not only did it stop us out, it came back to tag the entry to then reverse again. I do not know what's happening with ADA. It does seem like a lot of the, let's call it like 2017 cycle coins are hurting. Litecoin in that boat as well. ADA lost its support against BTC, looking for 630 sats. That seems all but on deck now. That is ugly. Not really, not a lot of like volume fluctuation there. Saw a good bout of volume on the sell-off after 57, 58 cents was lost. Not a lot of volume on the buy. Tiny little red candle today. $0.25. That's unnerving. I don't necessarily think ADA is going to 25 cents, but your measured move here brings you there. Ugh. Man, ADA. What's happening? On the month, it doesn't look as terrible. Obviously not a good look. On the month, though, you can see previous monthly at 40 cents before your bear market low, into your higher low, into your higher high. Could be holding a support here. I don't like these structures of a lot of them. AVAX almost stopped out, but not looking good. We placed way too many. We placed a lot of longs that didn't even look like they would fill last stream, and they all filled, almost. And many of them stopped out. We're talking about Tezos at the dollar mark that I'd pick some up. Thankfully, it's still at $1 because I forgot. That drop had me distracted too. Man, this is kind of wrecked, isn't it? The only thing I kind of like here on Tezos, this weekly may have been filled. Support may have held. I need to see Tezos settle above $1. Let's see. On the week, maybe. Well, here's one that didn't fill. Bulls, whatever this was in our DGen Friday, still hasn't filled 006. Though it does seem like it is heading there. Atom. Oh. Atom almost back to its bear market low. Wait, is that the bear market low? No. Bear market low is at 540. Sorry for the FUD. Wow. Atom taking a hit harder than most here. We had a long set at 755 months and months and months ago, just filled on this sell-off and almost got stopped down at like 560. Very close, too close to 622. October's low for my comfort. Man. A lot of these coins are kind of in trouble. Atom bringing this to mind for me. Like, you can come down here and you're already basically there. You can come down to like 650, but you need that higher low. If it breaks October's low, your bear market low is all of a sudden in view. And the worst part is you have lower highs here. You never set a higher high. That would be structurally very bad. It's still holding on to life here with a higher low. But man, you do not want to see this trade lower. There's a lot of charts kind of like this. Ooh, here's a good one. Here's a good one for Josh. All right, out of all the losers, we have a winner. EGLD, Josh, where are you, buddy? 3280, right there on the dot on the wick, didn't get stopped. I don't want to see EGLD trade below 3280, or it is looking very bad. But a bounce from here, definitely possible. That's a good catch. That's a good snipe. 50, 32 to 50, I think is very reasonable. All right. Let me see. Did I miss anything? What's up, Ronnie? I see you guys. See you, Ilya Lubnov. Jagrat, no name for privacy. Cheers to you. Privacy is the most precious thing that we give up now. Ganesh Paraj. What's up, man? See you subscribing. Cathal, there you go. £5. What's up, Ronnie? See you. If you haven't covered these, don't worry. Trias and VRA. I know I have VRA. I think I also have Trias. I can just pull them up for you to see what they look like. We did not look at them recently. Ooh, Jasmine, another fire. Oh, no, that's Jesus. I thought it was Jasmine. And I was like, whoa. Never mind. Scratch that. The thing keeping me, holding me onto the bullishness, even though a lot of this looks really bad, guys. The thing holding me on it is not only did we get bounces, yeah, we got stopped out on a lot of them. Some of them went farther than we expected. Basically, I was looking for the same move on almost every chart. Was just a return to that local monthly previous resistance bounce of support. A lot of those broke. Many of those broke. More than we've even looked at so far. There's more. There are a few winners too, but these have all broken lower, which is bad, but they, for the most part, have still returned to macro supports. Most of these are holding macro supports. The difference between VRA right here at 00488 and, I don't know, 395 is structurally more important than just that percent price change. If we see April continue to sell and these coins close below those, I'm going to get more bearish than I've been in a while, at least on alts. If Bitcoin dominance is still rising in that time, I'll probably remain overall bullish. If Bitcoin price is dumping while that's happening, we might be in for a painful kind of spring summertime. Let's see. Man, VRA was ahead of the game here. VRA started selling off at the 1st of March. Still okay above 0048. I'm going to put an alert. Trading below there going to look very bad. If you don't get a bounce here, bro, what are you doing? 0-1. Yikes. Boom, lower high, boom. VRA looks like it's going to return to 0068, but it needs to break through there. Doesn't break through, then it's heading down to that next level. You lose that, and you're getting kind of cascading liquidations below 0038. Yikes. It's hard to go through these charts, man. I want to be bullish, but all these charts are brutal. I should say, don't get too carried away with me saying they're brutal. Every single macro bottom, all the charts look brutal. That doesn't guarantee this is a macro bottom. Look at Trias ruining our trades here. Those are not helpful. Doesn't guarantee that this second is one, but every single time that we've had macro bottoms, I think you could put it in a different way of every single time opportunity was the highest or the most upside gains were available every single time. All the charts look terrible. Analysis has its place. Analysis does really well, I think, in bear markets for crypto. What is this? In bull markets, it doesn't tend to slap quite the same. It can help us, but a lot of the time you're kind of outside the reach of TA, and that would be in price discovery, etc. You see Trias. Trias didn't quite make it to 2040. Pulling back. Yeah, got some bounce potential here at 690. I don't like that though. I think $5 would be nice if it comes. There it is. This local fib actually looks real good right there. Try us. 690 is your 0.5. You haven't tested it yet. But yeah, I was saying every single time. The most profitable positions are taken at the times that feel the worst. So all these charts looking like crap. It is what it is. It's good to be able to face that. But there's no for sure way to know when is the right one. But every single buy I have made where it's like, man, this is a bad idea. Everything's down. Everything looks like crap. All my best ones were in that time. Bitcoin has moved lower in the live stream, but not significantly lower. Wasn't looking great earlier. Still isn't. Still is not. Ooh. Whoa. Whoa. Lever, halving in 4 days, 4 or 5 days, yep. Red wick to 44K and 60% flash for alts. Maybe. I don't know. Where you get 44K from? Where you feeling that? Where you vibing that 44 from? Let's just look. Just look at retracements. I think 20% has been what we've seen this run. It was like 21% on the ETF. It's like 22% from June to October, 31 to 25. 22%. So for the most part, what we've seen since our bear market bottom has been 22% retracements. We haven't hit a 22% retracement yet. If we're going to take it from 73.9, 22, 21, puts us around 57, which is interesting because I'm pretty sure 57 is right where that extension is. I know this one. But just because we've only had 20% corrections doesn't mean that's all we can have, right? Doesn't mean that's it. Doesn't mean we can bank on that. In previous runs, we have seen deeper retracements. They do seem to be lessening over time, but I would not count on that long term. Actually, right here in October was 20. On the way up from 42 down to 29, we had a 31% retracement. I think this one was more like 30s. And that was really it. We didn't get a lot. I think that's because we had this, though. because we had this like 60% dump on 2020 COVID. 20%, 30%. No, this is like 20. We could get bigger ones. We haven't seen them. But to get down to, let's do 30 and 40. 30% would bring us to 51.2. Right at our weekly order block, which makes sense. 40% brings us closer to that 44 or whatever number it was. 43.6. 22, 58. If we're going to follow what we've seen so far, 58K looks like the place to be. 58.8. Which is interesting because 58.8, if you were here when I started this, 58.8 is the quarterly support that we're currently hovering over. 58.8. Can't click it exactly. Right there. It would make sense. Are we going lower? I don't know. I don't know, man. Probably. Although everyone seems, for the first time on this stream, we have 1,000 votes. For the first time in a long time, the majority of us think we're going lower. That's honestly good data. That's honestly like almost actionable. I've seen us do much crazier sell-offs and be less bearish than this. 26% of us, to kind of balance that out, think the bottom's in. 12% think the bottom's in for Bitcoin, but not alts. I might be in this category. And then 7% think the bottom's in for alts, but not Bitcoin. Interesting mix. What's up, DJ Howie? Low. Same here. Buy when it's bloodbath, sell when it's screw. Dude, that's the thing. That's like the easiest concept is buy low, sell high. And you think, when you start trading, okay, yeah, I'll just buy low and sell high. I'll be rich tomorrow. It's not that easy. When prices are low, people around you are going to like criticize you. They're going to be negative. They're going to say you're crazy. Why would you do that? You're crazy. You're going to lose all your money. It's not just the spookiness of the price, but then you have to add in the spookiness of the price. You're new to trading. All of a sudden, your bags are worth 20%, 30% less than they were a day ago. Your brain immediately clicks into, what if this keeps happening every day? What if it goes down 30% every day forever now? I'll be broke. I'll lose all my money. The market somehow targets that exact human response with precision to the upside and the downside on repeat. That's why I wanted to include that. All these charts look like shit. They all look really crappy right now. But they always look crappy at macro or even interim bottoms. Like the ETF sell-off down here, January 22nd. This looked like crap too. You had hit support, rejected, lower high, rejected to a lower low, back tested. That support, rejected. You had this weak candle. It looked just like the previous weak candle. But instead, price just floated up. Bloop. The best entries are always going to look and feel like the worst times. It doesn't mean that every time it looks and feels bad is the best entry. It's only a one-way relationship. But it does mean when they are there, it will look the worst. That lesson took me years to learn. Years and years and years. Chirp, pow, Tom Crown on the scene. God, I love that song. Yeah, it's 2:26. Been live about an hour and a half. We're going to go live tomorrow, by the way. We have Chirp Pow at 1:15. I don't know where he's speaking, but you better bet I'll find out. We're going to watch it together. It'll be a good time. A good time. They're going to rail him about what's going on in the Middle East. They'll point fingers at the other side of the aisle. You know, the great shenanigans that we always have. So make sure you subscribe today so that you see that stream tomorrow. You can also join the Discord, discord.gg/TomCrown. It's a great way to keep up with the lives. 4 hour chilling here. We got an hour and a half. 4 hour looks like crap. It is slowly bringing these lows up. I wish I had more analysis for you guys. I don't. I do not. I do not. My guy. What's up, Brady? Shermermern. You've made mistakes, but it's made your life much better. Same, dude. We all learn one way. That's something weirdly trading has taught me more than anything. Everyone learns the exact same way. We all think we're special butterflies, but we all learn the same way. And unfortunately, that way is through pain, loss, discomfort. It's not fun. But it just doesn't seem like we can learn any other way. If you start trading, you've never traded before, you win a trade, then you win another trade, and you win a third trade. What have you learned? You've learned nothing. No, you've learned one thing. You've falsely learned that you're the greatest trader ever and that trading is easy. And we've all been there. I think a lot of people start that way. They don't end that way. They end when they start losing. The trick in trading, though, is to know that that pain and that loss is coming. You don't welcome it in, but you know it's coming. And so you prepare for it. Meaning you never take trades that will get you completely wrecked. You can do that through managing your position size. If you're betting your entire portfolio, every trade, I hope it's working out for you, but I promise you it won't. Whether it's the next trade or a trade a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, it doesn't matter. I promise you it won't. Know that that pain is coming. Prepare for that pain. Be ready for it so that you can use it as a tool. You can use it to learn, because that's the only way we learn. You're going to get very, very comfortable with pain in crypto trading. Promise you. But that's why we're here. Our fam is here to help you through that pain. We've been through it. I've lived through it. I've lost through it. I've learned through it. And I welcome you to it. Join us. Discord.gg/TomCrown and on YouTube, youtube.com/TomCrown. We're going to be live tomorrow for Chirp Out, and you better be there. Hope to see you then. I'll be in the Discord. Jump in, say hi, let me know you're around. Shout out to all the subscribers today: Arvind, Manfred, Virish, Guilherme, Yo-Yo, Ilya, Ronnie, Jagrat, all the others, all the people on TikTok. I haven't read your chats enough. I'm sorry. I'm doing better. Trial and error. Exactly. It's just another way of putting it. Hats off to you guys. You're here because you want to learn. You want to be better. You want to change your life. That's what crypto did for me, and it's what it can do for you. Stick with it. These painful times are mandatory